Hello there. Yeah, I said I wouldn't be drinking for, at least a little while, but we all knew that wasn't going to last. I mean, even I kind of knew that, so cheers. I'll trim my nails, so give me a second here. There we go. Let's pour this beer out, do this proper. Anyway, yeah, so, I'm gonna ask a question, and I know I'm not gonna get a direct answer because I never do to any question I ever ask. What exactly does this Babadook character want from me? And I don't really need an answer from anyone specifically because I think I already know. I know very well indeed, as a matter of fact. Uh, where to begin? Alright, well, here, I'll tell you a yarn about a scenario that I encountered today where I did run into multiple Babadook potentials. I'm not going to say 100%, but I'm fairly confident. And that's not the easiest thing for someone to say who's a member of the mental health system, because people have a tendency to never believe anything you have to say, even if, well, not even if it sounds like the truth. They have a tendency to not believe you anyway. Anyway, so as always at the bus stop. Okay, so this bus comes along. It takes X amount of minutes for it to show up. The people standing around or stand in such a way, it's such a distance apart that it's impossible to walk past them without, being too close to them. I know it's COVID, and there are people who think that you have to be 6 foot away. Mind you, most of these people weren't wearing masks. Not that a mask does you a lot of good anyway. I mean, they give you the propaganda. Oh, but it may not save you from COVID, but at least you won't spread your germs to other people. Yeah, you cough, you sneeze one time into the mask, and you got to change it. How many people do that? I guarantee you, not many. Because those masks aren't very thick. I have them. I have a box of like 60 of them that my mom bought me. I don't wear them because, if I'm going to get COVID, I'm going to get COVID. It's as simple as that. Anyway, so these people at the bus stop, they were positioning themselves to be at the exact correct distance to almost not be in the way, but they're in the way. They're not doing it because of COVID. They naturally went into this direction, and then you're going, well, that's simple human behavior. That they tend to stand that way at the bus stop. A lot of people get into a routine of what exactly it is they do. But there are some key factors. One, that's a metaphor for actually something else I saw that in a place we're not going to talk about. So that was actually a thing, and it was a little more heightened. That was the essential point, but it was more overt. But I'm not going to talk about where that was. Yeah, so everyone was in the age bracket at the bus stop, in particular, between 20 and 60 years of age. Perfect years to be people who can be told to do something that's a nuisance and slightly irritating for anybody, especially if that means you're the last person to take a seat on the bus, and they kind of almost herd you where they want you to go. I have to watch out for that because, yeah. Am I to believe the thousands of people I walk past every day, not one of them some sleazy uh, agent from the Matrix, Neo, whatever person who knows who I am? Am I honestly to believe that? You take a scroll through my YouTube channel as well as the things I've talked about, the fact that nobody, and I mean nobody, says anything about it at all, even people I've known for a long, long time. Silence. Absolute silence. Now, what could do that? What's doing that? What's stopping them from saying something? What, even if they didn't like it or they liked it or whatever, what is actually stopping them from doing that? What do they have to lose by saying something? So anyway, yeah, at the bus stop, and I'm observing human behavior. Sure, it could be construed as normal and coincidence and, very, very, much of the paranoid thinking. However, in light of other facts, I simply think that the Babadook I have to deal with is far more, how shall I say, high caliber, better quality, overall, able to do their job a whole lot better. Those goon Babadooks I saw, they probably didn't know anything. They probably only knew to be a nuisance. And, that gets back to the question, what does the Babadook want? Or the Babadook, the Babadoosh, whatever. It's the platform I'm using to explain a problem. Well, if it was brought upon by the mental health system, which I really believe it was, they want to, put me back on the meat chopping facility and really let me have it again, because they're actually sadistic people. Anyone who's gone through mental health usually doesn't have the courage to say that, especially on social media. But you know what? I do, because I know they don't got nothing on me. Wouldn't be here making videos if they did, that's for sure. Yeah, and having mental health, the system being pissed off with you for various reasons. It's not that you've done anything wrong necessarily. It's that you're not doing what they want you to do. And there is a difference between those two things. Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to have a beer. You don't mind, do you? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I feel way better already. Anyway, so I know this thing. I know it quite well because I've had to deal with this Babadoosh. I didn't know its name or metaphor to call it for that long, but 10 years I was in the system. 10 friggin' years. I know how obsessive compulsive it is. I know how power hungry it is. I know how it wants you to know nothing about it, but for it to know everything about you. Or so it thinks. Talking for hours and hours and hours and hours on YouTube, and them, whether they admit it or not, and they won't because they don't want to, give any respect, knowing that they watch the videos because they're trying to look for dirt, essentially. It's almost comical in a way. And it was told that the Babadoosh was immortal and therefore could not be defeated and only banished. Therefore, basically letting it be, but letting it be somewhere else is essentially what that would mean if you're referring towards the mental health system. And, that's not good enough for me. I'm more of a forward type of thinker. And, I'm not going to live my life having to be afraid of this thing coming back and, harassing me over and over again, which is what it would like to do. And if it ever had an excuse to do it again, they'd especially go after me. No, 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 no. They can't go after real criminals. No, 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 no. The people who peddle fentanyl and all that kind of stuff from Asia, no, won't go near them because they're hypocrites. But little old me, no, no, no. They'll use me for a punching bag for the rest of my life if they had their way. Except, yeah, I got a problem with that. I don't like that. I don't think that's fair. I think that's kind of insane, actually. That they're insane. And here I am talking about a bag of douche, trying to, worm its way and put me in a place I don't want to be in. And I see it. I told you. I have my documentation. I see it all the friggin' time. And, the bus stop isn't even the worst of it. I mean, I didn't tell you the other stuff because there's reasons I didn't. Yeah. I would on a different platform, but certainly not on YouTube, open to scrutiny from everybody. Especially people who don't like me. But yeah, it all gets back to, what does the Babadook want from me? Wants me to stop making YouTube videos. Does not want me to climb the ladder and be successful. Wants me to be abused by medication for many, many years. Doesn't like other things about me and my day-to-day life. And all these things are the reasons, which are all negative thinking on their part, because they are predisposed to thinking the worst of everything. They can't help themselves. And in that way, it's somehow they're covering themselves, even though they're not, because I'm able to explain what they're doing is wrong, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and how they're able to get away with it until today. Because there have been people who have blundered. You could call them lesser Babadooches if you want, weaker ones, who thought they could get the jump on me, and it turned out they were wrong. And the evidence is there for everyone to see, whether they admit it or not. And, as a closing statement, I think I'm going to have a few beer, listen to some tunes, might watch a little bit of Tick. He's a guy who talks about World War II. He recently released a short documentary about Stalingrad and how Paulus actually did have to invade Stalingrad. There was an argument that he didn't have to, but he actually did because of logistical points. And I'm very interested in what he has to say about that. And so that about wraps it up. But for a little salt in the wound, let's have another beer. Fuck all y'all.